closing in on a series opening win. Knock on wood, this result can stand. Welcome to PHLY Phillies podcast, presented by Bet365. You can download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up and find out why it's never ordinary to at Bet365. Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington here on PHLY Phillies podcast. It is not officially the postgame yet, but we are getting closer. Guys, the Phillies are up heading into the bottom of the eighth, 2-run lead. The offense has been led by Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos. We saw JT Realmuto get a home run. We'll talk about all that today. But one thing I want to say is ever since that 6-0 win over Seattle to close out that series, that was almost 5 days ago, the Phillies are closing in on possibly their 4th win in 5 days. It feels good. It feels good to feel like the Phillies are back.
Yeah, Jose Alvarado's on the mound right now. Topper rolling out a similar bullpen pattern. Looks like Hoffman and Strahm could be like the mix and match righty versus lefty types, but he likes Orion in the low leverage. Estevez is probably going to be your de facto closer. They can say whatever they want. And then they're going to throw Hoffman, Strahm, Alvarado at you in the middle in some particular order. But yeah, this is a good game again tonight. You know, Orion allows his first ever home run kind of right after busting it open a little bit. And then JT, answers right back and kind of gives you that insurance run. So much like last night's game, a lot to like about this lead so far. So let's hope they hold it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, too, guys, they've left a ton of runners on base tonight. A bases loaded situation, they didn't score. First and second, they didn't score. They've got 5 runs today, and very realistically, they could have 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done a nice job of increasing the damage. And, the JT home run is the insurance run that you're looking for. Kyle Schwarber did a nice job of extending the lead. But they've left a little bit of meat on the bone, and they still, as you mentioned, Renee, they're kind of closing in now on a 4th win in 5 games. Should they close this thing out? These last 5 games have been so much better baseball than what we've seen over the last 7 series prior to these 5 games. Now, you could say that you go, hey, you're closing in on 4-1. That's great that you're 4-1 in a 5-game stretch. Even if they weren't winning these games, these just feel like they're more they're significantly closer to the Phillies team that we've seen and we've expected than that stretch, kind of alluded to. They've been a much better team over the last week.
That's the thing. It's not even just about the fact that they're winning, which of course is the icing on the cake. They actually are looking better as of late. As you mentioned today, 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position. But when you look at the plays by Weston Wilson, JT Realmuto's first home run since May 23rd, even Johan Rojas, it's been so many different guys that contributed in addition to Nick, Mr. Consistent Castellanos. And for this group, that's been one of the areas that has been a frustrating point. You look at some of the at-bats. I know it was at one point they had 7 hits early on in the game, but it was like different guys that had gotten a hit. There have been games where they haven't had more than 3 hits all game. And so early on, you saw them, even though they weren't able to score and break through, getting hits, getting on base. The offense was there, and it was there with multiple guys contributing, not just 1 or 2 guys. So I do feel like they're playing just better team baseball. And exactly as you mentioned, JT, as Orion gives up his first ever major league home run of the regular season, you then have JT answer right back. That's been the winning DNA of this group by committee, that it's that next player up mentality. And we're seeing that on full display. But it is nice to see for the bullpen some sort of like structure being rolled out. It does feel like we're getting
I think so.
A blueprint of what this bullpen's going to look like.
I think this is what your October bullpen is going to look like. I think Orion is clearly your low leverage righty. Tanner Banks will be your lefty specialist if he builds up the trust of Rob before the playoffs. Jose is losing leverage the more and more leadoff walks he allows. Free base runners is death in playoff baseball. So we'll see. There's a chance Strahm just straight out beats Jose out for the job. Corbin Carroll comes in, pinch hit. and there goes or pinch run, and there goes my parlay on another note.
You still may be okay. If he doesn't get any at bats, you might be fine.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Jose is slipping here on the trust tree. There's a
No.
chance Strom, if he stabilizes, can kind of be the top lefty there. But then Hoffman and Estevez are probably going to be your 8-9 guys. So it does look like it's kind of taking shape, or at least what Rob wants it to be.
Well, guys, I also wonder how much. Okay, if we look bigger picture right now at the bullpen, getting rid of 2 guys that were the weak links. You know, you get rid of Sir Anthony, you get rid of Soto, you get rid of 2 guys that have been.
Have you talked to your Orioles friends recently?
Oh my gosh, they're going through.
Getting
I said,
full Gregory Soto experience.
I said, welcome to hell. Gregory Soto came in and gave up like 4 runs a couple days ago. But I do feel like moving Gregory Soto and Anthony Dominguez, the floor has risen. Like the weak parts of the bullpen are completely elevated. You're now talking about a Jose Alvarado being one of those struggling bullpen arms. And so it only, I feel like, makes it more obvious that he's not going to be useful if he continues at this pace in any high leverage situations. For Orion, who even struggled today, like those are 2 guys you're keeping an eye on. With Orion, I just think with his youth, his age, like today you saw him battle through it after giving up a couple of walks, gave up that first home run of his regular season career, but also got through it and responded, was able to get out of it. I like that Rob kept him in that situation, allowed him to settle in, get the outs, get out of that inning. Jose, on the other hand, has been consistently worrisome and somebody that's been troubling to see. And the bullpen has gotten better. Carlos Estevez, Tanner Banks raised the level. Matt Strom and Jeff Hoffman already have been pitching very well. So I do agree with you, Jamie. I think he's dropping on the totem pole, not only because of his performance, but also he's been struggling in addition to you lost your 2 weakest or 2 of your weakest bullpen arms. I'm not including Jose Ruiz or a Junior Marte. I'm talking like a playoff bullpen makeup.
Yeah, he just got another. He got to strike out here, so he still has a chance to get out of it. The thing that's concerning with him is he's walking too many leadoff hitters. He's playing with fire constantly. But if he gets out of this, he's still in a high leverage spot here. So we'll see. But it does feel like it's trending. But Strom also has been a little inconsistent as well. Orion tonight got a little too cute with the sweeper. He was only hitting like 94, 95 there in the beginning of the inning. But to your point and how he finished out strong, he started hitting 97 again consistently. And, if he's throwing 94, 95 fastballs, he's probably going to get hit a little bit. He was relying a little too much on that sweeper at times. He just needs to fire gas more often and trust his stuff.
Would you guys be surprised if I told you that these 2 walks that Alvarado issued tonight were the first walks he's allowed since July 19th?
Come again?
These 2 walks that he issued tonight were the first walks he's allowed since July 19th.
Really?
Yes. So it's been 7 outings prior to this without a walk.
Why does it feel like he's giving up a ton of walks?
So I think that the command, the leak of command is different than the walks, I think. So I'll ask you a second question, and I have an answer. I'm curious your guys' thoughts. What do you guys feel is Jose Alvarado's best pitch? Because so to me the answer is that back foot cutter that he throws to righties. Because it just dives off the tail, and that's the that when he was on the strike 1, strike 2, good luck or whatever the saying was, that's that pitch. That's the good luck, good night type of pitch, because he buries it off their back foot. You're not going to do anything with it. You're either going to saw off your bat and break it, you're going to swing over top of it, or you're going to make weak contact and bleed out somewhere.
He basically only has 2 pitches, right?
So the issue is when he's not throwing strikes to begin at bats, guys are able to lay off that pitch because it's more times than not a strike. So when Jose Alvarado, and this is going to be like Captain Obvious statement of the day because it's the same thing for everyone.
Little strikeout. Good job, Jose.
When Jose Alvarado gets ahead in the count, he is a vastly more dangerous pitcher than he is from behind. And again, that's like the no dust statement. That's the same for everybody. Like any pitcher that gets ahead 0-2, 1-2 is better than when it's 2-1. But for Alvarado's sake, I think that he's able to play with fire and I mean that literally and figuratively with his velocity and kind of, throw pitches in some spots where like he's not able to confidently throw that backdoor cutter or the slider in the dirt when
if he's behind in counts.
when he's behind in the counts, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That does surprise me because it feels like he's put a lot of free base runners on recently. So I'm genuinely kind of floored by that stat a little bit.
Yeah, he's definitely been just struggling in general, giving up hits, and it feels like guys are getting on base a lot more. I didn't realize he hasn't been walking guys.
I will add to that, since July 19th, he has given up a hit in now 5 of his last 8 outings. So
maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm confusing base runners with walks.
In a bulk of his outings, but the walks have actually been less than it feels like. But yes, he has. I believe he's now given up 5 hits. It was 5 hits and 7 outings coming into today. The 2 walks, no hits today. But maybe that's why you're feeling it. But yeah,
actually, I'm probably confusing that. Yeah.
He has also had, if I remember correctly, some wild pitches, and I think he even hit a couple batters or 2. So I think it's just been like for him, he's just been making some uncharacteristic pitches in general and definitely giving up more hits than you would anticipate. But it is interesting because, as you mentioned, like it's even somebody like Orion. Orion struggled today. He walked 2 guys. He gave up a home run. That's his first home run he's given up ever. I mean, obviously, he doesn't have a big sample size. We're just looking back to last season, of September of last season. But still, like the things that we are looking at that are areas of struggle are very minor, but it's just you need better. You want better. You've seen Jose be better.
JT smacks another one. All right. Should we say it?
JT?
He put in extra work today on the field in the cage. He's been pissed off, working hard. That's 2 he smoked tonight. I'm going to wait until tomorrow to say it. I need another performance tomorrow, but he looks the best he has. This is the best game JT's had offensively in what feels like a month.
Well, they were talking.
First of all, shout out to JT as he celebrates a decade in the majors.
Free life insurance for life.
Exciting. Yes, we like that. It's definitely been a good night for him. I know he's saying the same thing in the chat. He did need this. His first, as we talked about, the first home run since May 23rd, and that last extra base hit in May 28th. I did some digging. Obviously, he was out injured, but since returning back from injury and his 45 at bats leading up to that home run, he had 4 runs, 1 home run, which we saw tonight, 8 hits since returning, 0 doubles, no triples. He has been struggling. It's been a lot of strikeouts. He hasn't been getting walked or anything. He hasn't really given you much offensively in his 45 at-bats prior to that home run tonight. So for JT, he needed this. I mean, he has had his splits are like in the 161, 277, 161 his last 15 games. Yeesh. That's the timeline of returning from injury. He's been back for 14 games. In the last 15, it just has not been good at all. So
yeah, and on the same ilk there, I think Trey Turner hit the ball hard tonight as well. Yeah. Even his last out was, he pushed it down to the right field wall opposite way and just kind of went with the pitch. So 2 really encouraging signs there offensively with Trey and JT.
Definitely. Trey also needed that 2-run single that he had was
that was big.
An over. And I think the Phillies as a whole, you look at tonight, one of the positives, I know we talked about their struggles with runners in scoring position. They've been 5 for 10 with 2 outs. They've got some good 2-out RBIs that they've been able to put together. And that's something that we've seen them, whether it's bases loaded or, needing to find a way to keep the inning alive. They hadn't been doing that in that losing stretch. Whereas tonight, hit by pitch, some different plays, some small ball, finding some pockets to hit the ball into just to be able to keep things going has been a positive for tonight. That it hasn't been pretty. It's been singles. It's been ground balls. It's been just hard contact at the plate, but it's just been enough to allow them to get on base.
So to go back to JT for a second, tonight was, I think, is paramount to his success because he really has been struggling offensively, and they were talking about it on the broadcast a little bit. I know Ruben Amaro was mentioning it. You guys talking about that work beforehand. His leg kick is one of the higher leg kicks in baseball that we watch him more consistently than the rest. So I'm sure somebody in Detroit or Kansas City or whatever might be able to prove me wrong. but he has a very, very high leg kick.
Timing.
And when your timing is off, sometimes the most simplistic thing to do at the plate is to eliminate that. Go to a more of a slide step approach where that's just one less thing to worry about. I know that the leg kick is a part of his offensive approach at the plate, but sometimes it's as simple as, if I'm going to simplify my approach, what's some things that I can do that don't include me making good contact, that don't include pitch selection, that don't include me seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hands better? It's movement. It's less like, if you have one of these, like a Gary Sheffield, steady your hands. If you have a high leg kick, go to a slide step. Whatever can get you to the most simplistic point of see ball, hit ball, without having to make any kind of changes in terms of your approach at the plate, I think is significant. I don't know if he's dropped the leg kick in any capacity. I'd have to genuinely go back and just watch a tape of just him. But that sometimes really throws off your timing. And if that's the difference between JT getting hot and JT, kind of staying cooler, then maybe that's something that can help him moving forward.
Well, and I don't know. I can't even think of, I can't remember which leg he got the surgery on, but either way, coming back from injury, I wonder how much for JT there's been any sort of a change. I mean, he's moving a little bit differently in general. And one of the biggest things that we heard about him in the offseason was all the work he did on his biomechanics, his movements, including his legs. And since returning from injury, we have seen him be a little bit different. His step, his runs, his movements have been a little bit different. So I wonder how much, if anything, that may have even changed, that he had to kind of reset back to what he was doing pre-injury and get back into that rhythm, as we're now up 6-3.
Yeah.
Woo!
I mean,
I was waiting for you to see it. Edmundo with a nice piece of hitting.
Hitting's freaking hard. Really, 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 really times a million hard. And so for a guy coming back off of a surgery whose timing is probably still in the works, having a night like this can go a long way to
Brandon Marsh
getting you back to where you need to be.
That looked a lot further off the bat.
Edmundo Sosa, by the way, which we haven't
good
even
base running Edmundo.
We haven't even talked about Edmundo, speaking of hitting, because
I'm ready to platoon second base. Do it.
It gotta be at this point. I mean, last night obviously we didn't see him, so we didn't have a chance to really recap. What is today? Friday, so that would have been Wednesday's game. Edmundo Sosa is such a big asset. I know Greg MC saying in the chat, those 3 RBIs we saw in the win against the Dodgers, game 2 of that series tonight, he is one of those guys that wherever you need him, he makes a play. He works hard. Even that play, he outran Jordan Montgomery to first base. Granted, Jordan Montgomery's not fast. That was awesome to see. I just love the things that Edmundo Sosa does for this team. It's been fun to watch how he makes contributions, and it's such a big addition, and it's refreshing. But guys, you know what else is very refreshing for you that you can take advantage of, especially on some late nights like tonight? Take advantage of the refreshing Miller Lite. It's both. Miller Lite gives you all the delicious taste, low calories, and over the decades, there's been a discussion, and it still is Miller Lite that is the best beer to have. It is the original light beer that has less filling in the sense of less calories and the great taste of Miller Lite. A lot has changed over the years, guys, and one thing that has not changed has been that great taste of Miller Lite. We all love being able to crack open a nice, refreshing Miller Lite at a game, at a cookout, sitting on your couch, whatever it may be. Enjoy that light beer that tastes like beer. It's less filling with only 96 calories than the original light beer since 1975. You don't have to choose what's best, because with Miller Lite, they've got the great taste and they're less filling, and it always tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite, you can also get it delivered to your door. So right now, while you're sitting watching a game, you can take advantage of a chance to get it delivered to your door by going to MillerLite.com/PHLY Phillies. Or, of course, you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly with Miller Brewing Company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces, fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer. It's both. Miller Lites. Check it out again. MillerLite.com/PHLY Phillies.
Well, we're taking time to talk about things that are awesome. Let me tell you about Bet365, and Carlos Estevez is coming in to try and get the closeout for the Phillies, who were a slight dog tonight with Kolby Allard versus Jordan Montgomery on the mound. But right now, you should download the Bet365 app because it's never ordinary at Bet365. One of the greatest things about Bet365 is they have the fastest payouts in the business. If your baseball team that you bet goes up a certain amount of runs live in game, guess what? They'll cash out that ticket right then and there and pay you. They have early payout offers across NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, NHL, all four. And they pioneered the live in-game betting. They offer the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting. And at Bet365, they don't do things ordinary. They believe that every bet should be epic. So right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Use the code PHLY365 to sign up. Deposit $10 and claim your offer. So download the Bet365 app. Use that code PHLY365 when you sign up and check out all the awesome boosts to see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. My boost I got tonight was 30% profit boost on my same game parlay. I didn't win it. I don't want to talk about it, but I did get a nice 30% boost. I'm just going to have to win the next one. Must be 21 and older, located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Well, guys, you know what 365 equals? 14. That's how many hits the Phillies have tonight. 3 + 6 + 5 is 14.
Oh, wow.
The Phillies have 14 hits
promised
tonight.
there wasn't going to be math here.
Sorry. It's never a bad time for math, even on a
12:20 at night. No
even
math.
on a Thursday night. Yeah. 14 hits of the night for the Phillies as we are welcoming you into what's about to be a victory, hopefully post-game show.
Nice insurance run
Presented
there.
by Bet365. It is great to see the Phillies out to a lead. It is a series opener. We haven't seen the Phillies out to a lead in the series opener into the ninth in quite some time. And with a chance to break this winless streak, I'm sorry, Frank, that I'm jinxing us right now. But right now they are in the lead looking to break this streak. That is a fact. That's not me jinxing. I'm speaking facts. They're trying to break this winless series game one streak. But yes, now we get our Carlos Estevez up. This is good time. 6-3.
Renee,
Hard hit first
unless
single.
you're taking the ball in the ninth inning and we don't know about it and you're about to go get the save, this is a pretty jinx-free zone.
I don't know. I'm
lead off single.
Okay. Plenty of room to operate. That's why you get the insurance runs.
Yeah, that insurance run was big.
This is the time for Carlos Estevez to show us how he brings sand to the beach.
I'm a big proponent of keeping the tying run in the on-deck circle. And so as long as you can continue to keep the tying run in the on-deck circle, you're in fine spot. You bring the tying run to the plate, it's a little bit different. But right now, the tying run still can't do a thing for you.
Well, look, it's former Philly for about 28 minutes, Jock Peterson. He can't hurt us, right?
No, we don't. We're not nervous with Jock.
What a weird move that was.
Don't take us back to that day that we thought
it was
Jock
an interesting day on the air for sure.
Can we also just talk about the fact that the Diamondbacks literally waited until this game to get their NLCS replicas?
Oh, they did that on purpose.
Yeah, of course. I would do the same thing. I respect that, Petty. That's good work for them. Yeah.
Was
petty. It's super annoying.
Beautiful pitch.
Yeah, they just flashed the graphic that Estevez has the current longest inning streak of not allowing a run.
Painted at the knees.
And he's a Philly.
And he throws strikes.
Yeah, he's
Woo!
I like him.
He's
a great addition.
You cannot ask for a better pitch selection.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah, it's just great to have a guy like that you can trust as you talk about that list of most consecutive innings with 0 earned runs allowed. You're talking about solidifying the bullpen as much as we may still question, and people may still question the trade deadline moves. Carlos Estevez coming in is a great lockdown piece to add to bolster this bullpen. And now I feel like this is great to see. We're in Arizona as they had their NLCS replica rings to get to a little taste of what this squad is going to look like come October.
Can we take a moment, and you have to give credit where credit is due. We talked about this guy a lot prior to the playoffs last year, obviously in the NLCS. This show has sung a lot of high praises for Catel Marte. This guy has become a bona fide star.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an unbelievable ball player who's now put everything together. He's on the brink of 30 home runs.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Is he the best? He's probably he's definitely top 2 second baseman, right? Is there anybody better than him?
I mean, where do you put Arise? Obviously, Arise is your average.
I kind of like to tell a little bit.
I would take Marte. Jose Altuve is probably still up there.
If we're talking guys that can play second base, you can always include a Mookie Betts in the conversation. But
he can play any position.
Mookie Betts can play shortstop, quarterback, point guard.
I guess Ozzy Albies is in the talk.
Champion.
No, Catel's definitely one of the best second basemen in the league.
I think he's the best. I mean, honestly, at this stage.
Yeah.
Jose Altuve obviously had a better career.
He's a guy you hate to face.
Last year.
Simeon, Herner, Jimenez, Torres. Oh, there's a wild pitch. That's not great.
Let's get out of this. Come on, Esty. You know the Phillies have a knack for adding a Y to the end of everybody's name. So Carlos Estevez is Esty, Stubby, Hoffy, Alvy, Stoddy. Everyone's just it's kind of lazy to me. They clearly need somebody to help them with nicknames. Esty sounds like something like I don't know, testes or something. Like it's weird.
It really is. It really is Phillies After Dark with our first testes reference. Thank you for Renee for bringing us down.
All right, I can't be the only one that hears Estes. Whoa.
Testes?
Yeah, sounds awful.
Yeah,
it could have came up with something better, like Los or something. I don't know. CeeLo. I'll come up with a better name.
You keep workshopping.
I'm gonna keep workshopping that while the game. I mean, this game needs to end while we're rating. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, up 6-3.
This is gonna end up being an almost 3-hour game.
Yeah,
it's gonna end up being almost a 3-hour game.
The inning where the Phillies busted it open, they had 9 at bats.
You didn't have to say it out loud. We can all, especially the 6th inning was extremely long.
That was a long inning.
It was long because that's when the Phillies got 9 batters, scored runs. Great. But yeah, we are closing in on the 3-hour mark very, very soon.
Oh, there goes that earned run streak.
Okay.
Tyler's the fastest. Me with Hulu in the middle, and Renee coming in third.
I am the instant replay.
Renee's waiting for the newspaper to come tomorrow to read the box score.
McCarthy kind of killed him tonight a little bit.
Yeah, I hate this guy.
Jake McCarthy, the Scranton product, which we have to hear every time.
And he's a Yankees fan.
I still didn't say that.
Which one's worse? Which one has become more annoying in the first 2 days of seeing this team or days seeing this team? He's from Scranton, or Kevin Newman and Scott Kingery were teammates at Arizona.
Yeah, I think it's that one actually, because I don't really care. Like, no disrespect to Scott Kingery, but like, I don't really care that they were teammates. I don't really care that he's from Scranton either.
Yeah, I think we can drop Scott Kingery's name from broadcasts.
The other thing is, where do we draw the line of like what gets included of the demographic? I mean, Scranton is in the same state, yes, but like,
it's
everybody
close.
within like a 3-hour radius gets included as growing up near the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, he probably went and saw the Yankees play in South Philly before.
All game.
For the record, I just saw the.
Did you say ball game?
Ball game.
I just saw the
run
that gave up.
Yep.
So.
Oh, you just saw the 3 different stages of television. All right, a little pop-up action.
And
Phillies
the Phillies
win.
win! Woo! Greg MC's probably with me because I'm still watching SD give up that run. For the first time in a very long time, we have back-to-back victory post-game shows within a 24-hour window. We have back-to-back victory post-game shows. The Phillies win the series opener for the first time since sweeping the Dodgers. July 9th was the last time. Guys, it is August 9th. It was exactly a month ago that the Phillies last won a series opener. The slump is over. Frank Barber said that he's gone streaking. Lisa's like, woohoo! Greg MC is saying fantastic. Yes, it is a fun times right now because the Phillies got game 1-1. It's been a very long time since we could say that. The offense, we'll have to definitely recap through everything that we saw today, from SD back to the bullpen, to Kolby Allard start, and of course to even the offensive contributions of everybody. Weston Wilson, all the way through. It's great to see the time has paid off. It's been an investment of lots of hard work, sleepless nights, tears, but we made it, guys. The Phillies have won the game. And if you want to make it investments, as we're talking through investing and seeing some big deals pay off, you can do that with our friends over at TrueMark. Let's take care of some business here. The Phillies took care of business in Arizona, and let's take care of some business in your pocket. Because with our friends at TrueMark Financial Credit Union, you can make sure to take advantage of some great resources, low rates, better and low fees, I should say. And with our friends at TrueMark, if you're traveling, let's say you want to go out to Arizona, you don't want to go swimming in the pool, you just want to go watch the Phillies beat up on the Diamondbacks at Chase Field. You can also do that while keeping track of your spending with TrueMark Financial's mobile app. They have a mobile app that allows you to access your account anytime, anywhere, check your balances, view transactions. You can make transfers, pay bills, and much more from the convenience of your mobile phone. Plus, you can add cards to your wallet to make it easy for those in-store or online purchases. If you're looking to buy a house, for example, TrueMark also has mortgage specialists. They can offer guidance on loan options and terms and help you assess your finances and your credit score to be ready to save for that down payment and budget for closing costs. TrueMark Financial has tons of benefits, from their rewards Visa credit card to their other rewards points you can win, to being able to monitor your credit score. And you can get started today with TrueMark Financial. TrueMark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity lender. For more information, visit TrueMark.com/PHLY to get started today.
Yeah. And let me tell you, of course, about the lovely people at FOCO. You see their stuff everywhere. Tonight, watching the game, they panned over to a gentleman in the stands wearing the Phillies overall that we all know and love from FOCO. And FOCO is a leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, and plenty more. With the best officially licensed gear for all sports and fandoms. Whether you're going to basketball, hockey, or you're getting ready for the football season, show off your team love with branded friendship bracelets, hoodies, jackets, beachwear, even the overalls you see everywhere. There's something for fans in almost every occasion. And FOCO has hooked our sets up with a lot of their great stuff. And FOCO always has our back for Philly sports, and they have yours too. Get the best gear around using the link in our description. And for all non-presale items, use the promo code PHLY10 for 10% off.
All right. Well, welcome into our official victory post-game show here at PHLY Phillies podcast, presented by Bet365. Now, the streak may be over for Carlos Estevez, whose shutout streak has come to an end tonight. The new streak is starting for the Phillies because the offense is back. The Phillies feel like they're back. As JT Realmuto did the post-game interview, he's back. Different guys today had some much-needed plays, starting with number 10 as he celebrates a decade of major league time. JT Realmuto got his first home run since May 23rd. I love to be able to now have these positives that we're talking about, guys, to be able to share the exciting things of breaking streaks and winning games. It's been a long time since we've been able to do this, but it all started with Kolby Allard. And I was a little nervous coming in with Kolby Allard, especially because it's just Kolby Allard. Off the heels of Tyler Phillips last night, who did well and battled,
Kolby Allard came into today and also did well. Gave up a run, but he's had 9 shutout innings in his 11 innings in the majors. And Kolby Allard today, I thought, was solid, did enough. I know, Tyler, you were ready to say, like, don't let him go back out there. That's it for Kolby. And I think rightfully so, they pulled the plug on him to have Kolby be able to go 5 full innings with just giving up that 1 earned run, 6 hits on the day, 3 Ks, and also had 13 first pitch strikes in the 18 batters that he faced. Was doing a good job mixing in his sinker, his four-seamer, his changeup, but also had 3 double plays that Kolby Allard helped set up. So I thought it was a solid showing for him, especially with this, the starting pitching still working through injuries, that he stepped up and did well.
Yeah, it's I think he's only allowed 1 run in the last 2 starts, if I'm not mistaken. He's way better than expected for a guy that you really didn't expect to see in the rotation at any point this year, really. Better than expected, and I thought it was the right decision. Once McCarthy kind of took him deep there, the next one was hit hard up the middle, and it looked like they all of a sudden, because he has like a looping breaking ball that's kind of slow and a little bit deceitful if you haven't seen the guy before. I think once the Diamondbacks kind of got their timing down with their breaking ball, it was the 5th inning, and it was kind of like the perfect time to just let him ride off into the sunset, giving the Phillies a chance to win the game, only allowing the 1 run. And they had Orion warming up pretty quickly there. So I thought it was the right decision, and then they went out and jumped on the lead even more. But he left after 59 pitches. I thought it was kind of perfect. And kudos to Kolby Allard. I think that's the last time we're going to see him, at least for a little bit. So thank you. Yeah, you performed well, sir.
Yeah, I mean, he attacked the zone tonight, as Renee mentioned. What was it, 13 first pitch strikes of the 19 batters he faced, or whatever the number.
And they were aggressive, the Diamondbacks too.
Well, and that's
early too.
So I think back to some of because the Diamondbacks they have a couple of vets that played tonight. Obviously, Catel Marte, we talked about. Randall Grichuk and Josh Bell are vets, but they do have a young group of a couple of young guys as well in their lineup. Now, Corbin Carroll didn't play today, but Jake McCarthy's on the younger side, and a young backup catcher with Gabby Moreno sidelined. I think back to the days where Jamie Moyer was kind of the perfect guy to face young, hungry, aggressive hitters. Kolby Allard and Jamie Moyer are not the same pitcher. I'm not trying to make that comp. Jamie Moyer was a much more polished, accomplished starting pitcher who pitched for 875 years in Major League Baseball and faced like 10% of every hitter to ever exist. The first one was hyperbole. The second one's almost a true fact. Allard is a junk baller, right? Like you talked about, slow rolling, kind of just tumble through the zone breaking ball, 89 to 91 with the fastball. But he's fearless, and he attacked the zone tonight. And when you have a team that wants to play ultra aggressive baseball, like it seemed like the Diamondbacks did today, you can take advantage of that by working backwards, changing speeds, throwing strikes. All the cliche stuff that they tell you about pitching has to be manifested like tenfold when you're a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of stuff to go with your to work with your arsenal. He did a really nice job of working the edges tonight, threw a lot of fastballs down, threw a lot of fastballs to the side. The breaking ball was kind of tumbly. And at times it did get, it looked like, as you mentioned, Jamie, the hard hit contact after the Jake McCarthy home run. But he simplified his stuff today to say, here, hit it. And if you do, good for you. And if you don't, well, then we're just going to continue to roll. And that's why the 3 double plays helped. But if you guys notice, the 3 double plays that were turned, none of them were really hard contact. It was a lot of weak contact. The one was to Trey Turner. The one was to Bohm, I believe. I don't remember what the third one was. But it was a lot of weak contact tonight. He did a really nice job of just kind of, saying, hey, listen, this is my stuff. I'm going to attack. And if you're going to be ultra aggressive, you're going to get a lot of first pitch breaking ball, a lot of first pitch changeup, and I'm going to throw a ton of strikes.
Yeah, and after having a tough outing against Cleveland where he gave up those 3 runs, then turn that around and you give up 1 run against Seattle a week ago, you give up 1 run today, and just did a good job of throwing first pitch strikes and getting ahead. And for Kolby Allard to settle in, as you talked about, Jamie, probably won't see him again because with the injury updates, the timeline looks like the Phillies should not need him again. And we'll get into some injury updates in a moment. But it was nice that he was able to come out and feel good leaving the mound. I think that's especially once the offense gave him the run support, there was no need to stretch him and overextend him and have him get rattled, especially because the Diamondbacks were starting to kind of read his pitches a little bit more. And I felt like for Kolby Allard, you did your job. Thank you for your service. And hopefully this is the last time, because with the injury updates, we did get the update for Austin Hayes as a, obviously not a pitcher, but in general, that he is still going through some testing. That's why we did not see him today. They're still trying to figure out exactly what's going on with that hamstring. He did undergo testing on it this afternoon, and they should know more hopefully any minute now. Postgame was the same, but Rob was at least saying that Hayes has been feeling better. The team is just waiting on the results from the doctor. In terms of pitching, though, I know Taijuan Walker has entered the chat, Kevin at iRock Philly. Taijuan Walker is expected to be back August 13th versus Miami. He allowed a couple of hits
Great,
and one
great
run.
little icebreaker for him.
I know. August 7th in his rehab start with AA Reading. Rob said that he's been in a good place and that tomorrow when he comes in, he's gonna, they'll see how his body reacts and they'll know more exactly of when he's gonna be able to start. But the expectation is August 13th. Rangers working his way back. He's expected to be back following the conclusion of this road trip as well. So he did throw 2 innings simulated game Thursday. I know they talked about it in the broadcast, but in those 36 pitches, they said they went well and that he is now scheduled to be able to get some rehab time in. They want to see him against some competition as well as just make sure that he's okay. Before they don't want to rush him back, which I agree with. No need to rush him back. He's had some injuries this season. Let him get a live bullpen session in, possibly as soon as Sunday, and then go from there with his back injury since he's had 2 back injuries in the last couple of weeks. And then Spencer Turnbull is still slowly recovering. And as we talked about yesterday, they're not going to be able to stretch him out as a starter, but he is expected later this month, if not early September, to be another multiple innings reliever. So with that being said, we should hopefully get Taijuan Walker back sooner. As we talked about, the 13th is just a couple days away. That's this weekend. And Kolby Allard's work may be done. And then maybe that 6-man rotation comes into play with Tyler Phillips.
Yeah, you couldn't really ask for a better welcome back from injury start than the Marlins, who have a $12 million payroll right now. And Jake Berger's like the only major league hitter left on their team. So that's pretty good. Kevin asked the question that we're all thinking right now is that can Taijuan Walker be better than Kolby Allard? And I want to say yes. I really do. I mean, Kolby Allard's, playing with fire. He's probably getting a little bit lucky in that most of these guys haven't seen him, having some of that, 2 or 3 game success that a lot of people have when they come up. Taijuan Walker can be worse, but he should be better. He's paid to be better. If that splitter isn't as terrible as it was prior to him leaving, he should be better. But I don't really have a lot of confidence in saying that, unfortunately.
Oh, if we're talking about stuff, definitively Taijuan Walker is better than Kolby Allard's. The concern, of course, is the command. And as you talked about, the splitter is a defining pitch for him that he really hasn't been able to find this year. If we're sitting here comparing Allard to Walker, I don't think there's a question. Like, and I know a lot. Jonathan was saying that he pitched well tonight, and right, tip of the cap to the kid.
Yeah,
he pitched decently over the last couple of starts. But I don't think that if we said that they were going to move Taijuan Walker back into the rotation to remove Spencer Turnbull like they did at the beginning of the year with as well as Spencer Turnbull was pitching, then there's no question in anybody's mind that when Taijuan Walker's healthy, he's coming back into the rotation.
Yeah, because I agree with Frank as he's mentioning Allard is due for a Tyler Phillips type of a blow up. Michael Mercado, Kolby Allard, Tyler Phillips. What's the common denominator here? These guys aren't stretched out enough or even at a level, really, to be honest, at this point, to be someone you're going to count on regularly. It's only a matter of time before the as you mentioned, for Kolby Allard that opponents know what pitches he's throwing and they're able to get after him. I think Taijuan Walker, as we know, he's one of the guys on the Phillies that's a part of that decade-plus crew in the majors. Although it's a good and a bad thing because you know what you're going to get from him. You know what you're going to get from him. That's good and bad. You know what the bad is. You know what the good is. Unfortunately for Kolby Allard, we have no idea what the bad looks like for him, and it's only a matter of time. This is not realistic that he can maintain this, and I do feel like right now it makes sense if you can get Taijuan Walker back and move to a 6-man rotation, so maybe you don't have to overextend him. It's a great way to ease him back in. But I do not feel like Kolby Allard, what we've seen from him the last 2 games is enough to even have a real conversation about, is it right to move Taijuan Walker back versus Allard? It's a no-brainer to bring back Taijuan Walker. I do want to talk about another guy that stepped up, though, because there's 2, actually, I should say. We touched on Edmundo Sosa a little bit, but also Weston Wilson, who we had that very, very close opportunity, just hit the line as a foul ball. Foul or fair, it was extremely close. I know Ruben Amaro thought it was a fair ball, but he just missed that by a matter of centimeters, inches, whatever you want to, whatever measurement you want to say.
Nipple hair.
Okay.
You missed it by a nipple hair. I think that's a scientific term that scientists use.
That's what scientists are using. Okay. Okay.
Now, is that standard across the metric system?
Yeah, it's a standard nipple hair unit. Yeah, it's universal.
Yeah, by the way, Lisa said it in the chat. Ruben was wrong. It was a foul ball.
It was a foul ball.
You can see where the ball bounced.
They looked at it in the dugout, and the guy was like, no, don't challenge it.
This is, truly after dark, guys. Send help, send help. But then he turned around, gets the 2-out double, that nice RBI double, gets Nick home. That little part of the batting order, Nick Castellanos, Weston Wilson, Johan Rojas. Who could have predicted that would be the people that would help lift this offense up? Of course, it was Kyle Schwarber as well, but
and most importantly, when you guys one day are telling your grandkids about this, do you remember exactly where you were on the night that Nick Castellanos was intentionally walked? Do you have a good mental imprint so you can tell this story one day?
I could never in a million years imagine that the same Nick Castellanos that people were ready to cast off the island in DFA.
Man,
I remember on our show, people in the chat saying Nick's got to go. Can they trade him? Can they DFA him? He's awful. He's terrible. Is the same guy that the Diamondbacks intentionally walked today, had a walk, got hit by a pitch, and then him, Weston, and Yoro were literally the guys that got the offense to break through. That Nick Castellanos. Yeah. Are pigs flying?
Yeah. It was even Alec Bohm, who was standing on second base, was like, what's happening? They're intentionally walking him? All right, cool. So yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, he's really turned it around. Like his at-bats are now like things of beauty.
Yeah, his pitch selections become significantly, and we talked a lot about the 15 pitch at bat a couple nights ago, 9 pitch at bat a couple nights ago. His pitch selections become much cleaner, and it was funny. I think in the 9th, he was up in the top of the 9th and kind of flailed over a first pitch slider, and I went, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" Like, you pulled that one out of the back of the recesses of your brain for a second. Like, where did this? That's not been you the last couple of weeks, because his at-bats have been much better. I mean, he's not chasing that slider out, down and away. He's not swinging out of hand nearly as much. He's still allowing himself to be aggressive, to be Nick Castellanos, to, if there's a first pitch that he likes, he's going to go after it. But it feels like it's a selective aggression now. It feels like he is somebody who is confident in the batter's box. He knows right now he's on a heater, and he's going to take advantage of it.
Definitely. I mean, he had 6 hits in the series against the Dodgers and then continued that again today. And Nick Castellanos, you talk about him and his progression, he's been one of the consistent pieces. I mean, his batting average has already eclipsed the highest of the season. And the numbers that he's putting up, he's giving good at bats. Nick Castellanos has been the consistent cog in the wheel for the Phillies. And I know people were saying Bryce needs to heat up. And yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day,
they got a nice RBI tonight.
Successful. Yeah, he didn't have a bad night at all. I mean, this is what makes the Phillies successful at this point in the season. This is why they have been winning games. You have Nick Castellanos, who is far down on your batting order, and he's the guy that you are seeing pitchers intentionally hit. He's the guy that's intentionally walk. He's a guaranteed hit. This is Nick Castellanos. This is what he can bring. He has the potential. We always talk about it. He can either be slumping really bad or he can be very good. We saw that last season, the postseason. His ups are up. And so it's nice that he's been able to have such a great streak right now. Him, Alec Boehm's another one who with his 41st double of the season tonight. I know Corey Seideman tweeted out that he's on pace for 58 doubles, 17 homers, 111 RBIs, 26 consecutive games that Alec Boehm has been able to get on base. He's also been one that's quietly been steady in the offense. And you need these pieces. This is what we've been lacking and what led to them losing games. They weren't getting hit. They weren't getting on base. Their offense wasn't disciplined at the plate. And we are seeing that change, honestly, off of the backs of Nick Castellanos starting that.
Yeah, 5 different players with multiple hits tonight. Nick Castellanos, so funny enough, was not one of them, but was on base 3 times in his 5 plate appearances. And I think because I saw somebody tweet about this today, and initially your immediate thought goes, yeah, that makes sense. He's earned it. But then the retort was, the question was, why not move Nick Castellanos maybe up to 5 in the lineup? And I think that Castellanos has settled into a really nice role as your 6 in the 6 or 7 range, depending on where, Rob Thompson fits him in. Now, understanding that Brandon Marsh probably can't hit 5 or 6 much longer, and it's going to have to probably be Castellanos in that role moving forward. But he's really settled into a nice role as your 6 or 7 hitter. And then, like you guys talked about, a lot in the beginning portions of the season, it was divvied up tonight. It was a lot of guys, 14 hits. You don't come by 14 hits accidentally. Weston Wilson had strong at bats. Edmundo Sosa had strong at bats, and you continue to pile on. And we talked about it earlier in the show. They left some meat on the bone today in terms of runners in scoring position. They had 14 hits and 6 runs. They might have been in a spot where if they come up with one more crucial hit, not that it mattered today, but they come up with one more key crucial hit, maybe they win this game 8-4, 9-4, something along those lines, where it was a great game today. And there actually still was some room to go, okay, you can still improve this particular aspect. And that's why we talked about it a lot earlier in the show. They're feeling like they're rounding back into the form that we knew that they would.
Yeah, I mean, the Diamondbacks were the hottest team in baseball coming into this
really
game.
Good.
Jordan Montgomery had some success against the Phillies in the beginning of the year. And it was, this pitch, he really likes to push the limitations of the pitch clock.
Yeah, well, he should have been called for it about 9 times in the first matchup, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, it got so bad, Phillies fans were mockingly counting it down because the ump just refused to call it. Tonight, they were calling it, and I know our PHNX brethren were like, oh, that was an outrageous pitch clock violation. I was like, what are you talking about? That's what this guy does. I think he tries to play mental games with hitters, and it appears, the 14 hits say so, that they were more prepared for it tonight. Like, it might have been a strategic thing that they went and mentally prepped for, because you even saw Kyle Schwarber like call it out to the ump once when it hit 0. He was kind of pissed about it. So, I mean, this is a huge win because the Diamondbacks have been awesome lately. They've been on absolute tear. And now the Phillies, all of a sudden, they're going, all right, we took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers, beat them up in the season series, head to Chase Field, keep it rolling. This really could be the swinging point back to sustainable good baseball here.
It does feel like the pendulum is swinging back in the Phillies' favor of good baseball, back to the good side. Because as you guys mentioned, for the Diamondbacks who came in after sweeping in their last series against the Guardians,
15 of 20 or 15 of 21.
They've been playing so well. And their offense has been the best across Major League Baseball since All-Star break. They add a Josh Bell, who's like an Achilles heel and a thorn for the Phillies. And the Phillies went in and took care of business. 7 extra base hits. I know you mentioned it, Tyler, with the 14 hits. You have 5 different guys that have multiple hits tonight. Someone like Trey Turner, who's been struggling, gets 2 RBIs on the night. It was a lot of minor things. Even with the mistakes, even with some, you can still pinpoint some areas that could be better, like runners in scoring position. The 2-out rallies were good. The double plays were clean. and the Phillies now have also just been so steady. Kyle Schwarber, a big part of that as well. I know they said on the broadcast the amount of leadoff home runs he's had, the amount of RBIs, his just at-bats, 8 straight games now with a hit. He's been his singles. He's already tied his career high in singles dating back to that career high in 2019. And it just feels like they are figuring out ways to grind out better at-bats, better in each inning. And I think that's honestly the biggest piece that we may have even taken away from this losing stretch, that the Phillies you found all these ways to lose, all these ways to blow leads, all these ways to give up runs, all these ways to go over, not get hits. And now they're settling back into the other side of it, of the little things, getting some challenges to go their way, some calls to go their way, some pitch clock violations, whatever it may be. It's not pretty at times, but it's effective.
Yeah, our cousin show, the PHNX Diamondback show, just started their post-game show, and the headline says "Bad Philly." Fill in. So we'll enjoy this one. You guys got last year, I know. But have you taken a look at the MLB standings updated after tonight's game?
Oh, what I did notice, Atlanta Braves.
We can have a smile about something.
You can't spell Atlanta without a big old L in there, because it's 5 in a row for the Braves, and they've now dropped below the Mets in NL East standings. I absolutely had that written down.
Oh, you noticed the same thing I did. How about that? Yeah, they got shellacked. The Milwaukee Brewers just dominated them. I think I read 54 hits in the 3-game series that the Brewers had. So they absolutely just lit up Atlanta. And now we can refer to them as the 3rd place Atlanta Braves. The Mets and Grimace on the Phillies' tail. But it does look nice to see 8-game lead again.
By the way, speaking of Milwaukee, guys, do we have to start talking about Pat Murphy and the NL Manager of the Year award?
I know. How about that?
I thought this team was going to be left for dead.
Counsel who?
I thought this team was going to be left for dead when they moved Corbin Burns. Didn't really make any type of moves. Decided that they were going to throw a ton of money at Jackson Churio before he even made a major league appearance. I thought this team was going to stink.
Clentak effect, man.
Awesome.
How could you doubt Clentak? How could you?
This is the team that went against the Braves, won 10-0, 8-5, and 16-7 to sweep the Braves. Like, the Brewers aren't just good. They've been impressive. They've been very impressive. They've had a flurry of openers and different things. They've just been piecemealing it together, but it's been effective for them as well.
Yeah, we legitimately, I mean, if we're thinking about, the Manager of the Year award, they're, I know the Pirates have kind of teetered off a little bit, but you could conceivably go, okay, well, I think Pat Murphy's definitively in it the way that the Brewers have played. Ali Marmol, I think with their geriatric retirement home starting rotation, the Cardinals have been decent. Up until recently, the Pirates have played some decent baseball. Derek Shelton could be involved in that conversation. The NL Central has done a really nice job. And the funny thing is, the team that everybody was in love with heading into the season, the Cincinnati Reds, are in last in the division.
Yeah. And LA De La Cruz.
Now that we're in August, we can start kind of standings watching and thinking about what this all means for the playoffs and different matchups and things, and keep an eye on teams that are of a danger, that are trending in the right direction. But one team that is definitely trending in the right direction, the Philadelphia Phillies. And to see them have now gotten the win over the Diamondbacks, they're now sitting at 69 wins on the season. I know, Jamie. I know. Get it out.
So, no, the reason I say nice is because obviously they can be the first team to 70 wins in Major League Baseball tomorrow.
Yeah, there was no other reason.
That's the only reason.
So, yes, they are the only team with 69 wins across Major League Baseball. Of course, they have some others, the Orioles and Yankees, that are sitting at 68. But the Phillies can be first to 70. I know our own John Foley put out a funny tweet. Funny because it's painful when you look back of the list of teams in franchise history that never reached 69 wins in Phillies history. And the most recent was back in 2017. And we had 2015, 2000, 97, 96, 89, 88, 71. And of course, in 69, they did not reach 69 wins. But in 2024, they are at 69 wins. And guys, it feels good again to talk about the Phillies in so many positive ways. We will be back live tomorrow, 11 a.m. It'll just be Tyler and Jamie holding on the fort as I'm using up a PTO day. And we'll be back talking more, continuing to take a look around the league, continuing to look at the Phillies as they prepare to close out the weekend ahead, because now with one game under their belt, just one more gives them the series, and it should be a good one, as we now have with Kolby Allard off the mound after he did well tonight. Up next, we've got Zach Wheeler back.
That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice.
Like this is what you get back to: a Zach Wheeler, Ryan Nelson, and then Aaron Nola, Zach Gallen, and Christopher Sanchez. I don't know if they even know who their TBD is yet, but
they didn't. When I joined their show earlier today, they said they didn't know or have any suspicion.
That we're not used to. Yeah. Things we're not used to. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Ryan, sorry that you're late. We'll be back live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Set your reminders. We're back on YouTube and Twitter where you can join us to talk more about the Phillies. And it's always a good time when the Phillies are winning. For Tyler, Jamie, myself, Renee, thank you all so much for tuning in for our PHLY Phillies After Dark, presented by Bet365. We'll see you guys next time. Let's go, Phils!
See ya.